Jason Couto here with Couto Construction, answering some of the most commonly asked questions. And today we have a little bit of a treat for you where we're going to give you a tip or trick on how you can do this or solve this should you come through this situation for you in your home. The question that we get asked is, what is ice damming? Why does this happen? And what can I do as a result of this happening? So to start off, I'd like to answer, what is ice damming? Ice damming, very common, that happens here in New England is, because we have cold nights and we have warmer winters, it's actually a perfect environment for ice damming to happen. And what ice damming is exactly what it is. It's a dam of ice. It's most commonly happens at your eaves or at your gutter line. When you have warm days or the heat from the inside starts to evaporate through the underside of your roof, called stack effect, well, that starts to create that snow melts into water. And when you have ice damming that is built up around your gutters, well, that ice damming starts to hold that water from dispersing off your roof and causes what they call the ice dam. The problem that is if your ice dam consistently happens, eventually it's going to work its way up through your shingles into your underlayments and could really wreak havoc and cause some serious damage on your roof. So that's what ice damming is, and that's why it happens. But what I want to give you next is I want to show you what you can do should this situation happen to you in your home. So the second part of this, as we said, we want to show you some tips and tricks of what you can do should ice damming happen. Now, I can tell you that we want to give you a little bit of insight on why does this happen, but more so on how we can prevent this. Now, this happens to a natural occurrence, but there are some things that we can do to prevent this. Some of that is attic air sealing, where you can stop the excessive heat loss from the home, which also helps reduce the ice melting from the inside, as well as proper ventilation, where you can get the right attic ventilation to breathe through your attic and allow that hot air to escape, as well as that cool air to come from the inside. But to say that you can prevent ice damming from happening is not something that typically can be done, at least as a permanent solution. But when you do have a proper roof and the roof is installed correctly with the proper underlayments, what you can do is prevent the damage from happening on your home. But let's talk about what we can do if ice damming is happening and what you can look for. First things first, you'll know that you have ice dam happening because a telltale sign is those very pretty icicles that people love to see coming off their gutters in the wintertime in the home. Typically, when you're seeing these icicles off the end of your home or coming off your gutters, that's a telltale sign that you most likely have some ice damming occurring. Now, it doesn't mean that damage is happening quite yet, but you definitely want to keep a close eye on that. Now, what do you do once you have these icicles and ice damming is occurring? Well, I'm going to tell you really quickly, you can solve this, or at least prevent the damage from happening pretty easily if you follow these simple steps. First is you're going to want to have an ice melt. Now, we personally like to use a calcium chloride product, and it's just a little bit easier on your roof and prevents any additional damage that could happen for some rock salt. But having some simple calcium chloride, which is just an ice melt, and believe it or not, a pair of pantyhose. And as far as to finish that off, what you're going to need is a pair of scissors and a cup. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take these pantyhose. So you're going to want to separate the actual stocking from the undergarment area by just simply cutting it with a pair of scissors. Next, you're going to want to take this end of the sock, the open side. You're going to want to fold it back a little bit. Take that cup, grab a cup load of the calcium chloride pellets, and just pour it in to the sock like so. And you can continue to fill this up until you get to the end. Now, the good thing about the pantyhose is you can start to see that some of that calcium chloride starts to come out, but that's actually one of the benefits of using it. And when you're done, you're going to want to take it and you should end up with something just like this. Then once you get to the end, you tie the end up and you got yourself a great ice damming solution that can help you just kind of get through it. Now, there are clearly other ways that we can do this, but let me show you now where you want to put this when you get on a roof. So in the photo below, you see how you're going to want to have the pantyhose, which is essentially one side over your gutter and the other side going up the roof. But I do want to make sure that we add this disclaimer. This is not a permanent fix. This is kind of a quick hack, something you can do yourself if you're finding some ice damage already happened in your home, to really help a solution before you can get a professional out there. There are other products that you can use. There are roof pucks that you can have, and it's a simple tossing up on your roof. The other thing is you really want to be careful, especially during the winter time, getting up on a ladder, and please leave it to the professionals. But last but not least, what you can do to help remediate the damages of ice damming is you can get heating cable up there. Now, all these have advantages and disadvantages, but ultimately what you want to do is, if you're having an issue, call a professional, give us a call, and we'll come out, we'll take a look, and we'll provide you the proper solution and help you if you're really in a bind. And remember, when it comes to roofing, our family's got yours covered.